my name is Morgan Jeremus, and I'm with RT Book Reviews, and I have the honor today to be speaking with Mari Carr. She's published in ebooks, and mainly erotica, I think is what I've read.
Yes, yes, it all is, yeah.
Now, normally I wait until the end of the interview to ask, oh, what do you have coming up next? What's going on? I'm actually going to have to ask at the beginning because your list of upcoming projects is so long, it just might take the rest of the interview.
It'll be in all of it, yeah. Which is amazing to me. I've been very lucky. The next most immediate book is going to be the second book in the Compass Brothers series that I'm writing with Jane Ryland. Northern Exposure came out in March, and Southern Cover comes out in July, and it's a fun series. It's the first time I've ever written with another person, and I knew I wanted to write with Jane because she's a fantastic author. So I was very excited to write the series with her. Sam Hain offered it on a synopsis. They contracted it on the synopsis and said, yes, that's good. We'll buy it. So we have 4 of those, and they're all about 4 brothers in Wyoming. So that's coming up. I have another book coming up at Alora's Cave. I don't have a date yet, but it's actually the sequel to Kiss Me Kate, which was my very first Alora's Cave book. So it took me way too long to write this sequel, you know, the second story. But that's coming out soon. I saw the cover. It's beautiful. And then in September, I have Slam Dunk, which is, I always have to count, I think it's the 6th book in the Black and White collection. And it's actually a sequel. None of those books have ever been connected, but Slam Dunk is a sequel to Happy Hour, which has done really well. It's been a good book. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
So, yay.
Well, you write collections of stories where we're going to see either the same characters or you have a theme that runs through them.
Usually, right.
I know you have one with a family, Irish family perhaps.
Irish. I love those books. I still miss them. I finished the last one in January. That was the hardest book I've ever written because I guess I was saying goodbye to them, and it's ridiculous to get so attached, but it was about 1.5 years of my life living with the Collins family, and they became completely real to me. And so my editor finally said, are you going to give me this book? And I'm like, I will, but I really don't want to because then it's just sort of like saying goodbye to them. But we did, and it came out in January. It's done fantastic, and I worried about that book, and she said, it's good, it's fine, and she's like, it's good. I worry about everything I write. I never think anything's good. I
was going to say, that seems like a very author thing.
I'm my own worst critic.
Exactly. Yeah. Every time I talk to somebody, they're like, and my critique partner just raved about it, but I wasn't sure.
But I was like, no, it's not that good. No, I should have done this. I should have done that. And they're like, no, would you just stop? Turn it in. It's good.
Well, tell me a little about your critique partners. I'm assuming you and Jane, because you write together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, critique each other.
On the Compass series, we've done very serious. Actually, I think the editor was kind of surprised because it's 2 writers, and we're both pretty clean writers. I was an English teacher, and Jane's just obsessive compulsive. So, you know, it was 2 of us going through it with a fine-tooth comb. So I think when she saw the edit, she was like, what is my purpose here?
There's not a whole lot to do.
We had just destroyed that thing. So that's good. I have another critique partner who is an author, Rian Cahill, who just recently signed with Sam Hain, and she's a fantastic writer, but she's just become a really great friend. She's from Australia, and she's just a powerhouse. She's wonderful. So you'll hear her name, I'm sure. She's an up and coming. So I've been really lucky. Most of my critique partners are writers, and they're writers whose work I admire. So that's, you know.
Well, writing can be so solitary. You're sitting at your computer day after day. I talk to authors, and I'm like, oh, you know, what's been going on? They're like, I've written 3 books, so that means, you know, how many hours, you know, 80 hours a week for the last,
Mine's completely different because I have a full-time job. I'm a high school librarian, so my writing time is the weekend. So I'm one of those people who just really doesn't have a life. I haven't seen a TV show since X-Files went off the air. I just, you know, everybody's like, oh, you're watching American Idol? I'm like, no, I'm really not watching American Idol.
So during the week, do you actually kind of store up your ideas, and then in the weekend?
I do, and I jot down notes and ideas and stuff like that. I'm a morning writer, and unfortunately my job starts at 7:15, and so I'm not writing in the morning. So it really does all come out on the weekends, which is okay because writing is so much more than writing, which sounds ridiculous, but I do a lot of promotional stuff. I do kind of the business end when I get home from work. And you know, I have a Yahoo group, and there's some wonderful readers there. So we kind of chat, and then anything I have to do to update my website, because I do everything myself. So, you know, I'm that kind of person. So it's business on the week and writing on the weekend.
So I know during the last few years that the digital publishing has become just unbelievable. It went from kind of this small underground, you know, we didn't have devices maybe to read them, and now we're looking at ebooks being on bestseller lists.
It's unbelievable. It's exciting. I think I was lucky because I kind of got in when it was growing. You know, I wasn't there at the beginning. My first book came out in 2008. But still, most people I think were reading off their laptops. I read ebooks. You know,
I still do.
I got a Kindle for Christmas. Hello, greatest thing on earth. I think everybody and their brother got a Kindle for Christmas. It was Amazon was very fun in January. Let's just say you're looking at your book rankings and you're like, wow, everybody got a Kindle. So that was a very exciting time. But it's amazing to me. It's grown so much, and it's a wonderful business to be in right now.
Have you seen anything, what would you say the difference is, maybe in story-wise, for print versus digital? Do you see plot-wise or?
There's a big difference. I think that traditionally in New York, they trend, you know, it's whatever's popular at the time, and that's what they're buying. If it's paranormal, it's something like that. There's so much more freedom with e-publishing. If you want to write a novella, you can write a novella. Primarily, that is what I write, because like I said, my writing time is limited. So my stories tend to be shorter, and there's not a big market for that in New York. Whereas in e-publishing, you can write you can write anything really. You can be a little more creative. So.
Can you tell me a book that you've published digitally that maybe wouldn't have been appropriate or wouldn't have been something that a traditional publisher might have, but then when you went into the e-world, it really exploded and found a place?
All of them. I'm trying to think. Probably the black and white collection that I do at Samhain, because they are shorter novellas. The whole theme is wicked fantasies, and they're not connected, but they just explore different things. One is a menage. I have an interracial romance that's coming out in September.
Slam dunk, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Just sold that. I'm going to talk to my editor after this. Actually, we're going to talk about some things we're going to do to the story, but that one's coming out. I had a cougar book. I don't know. I really, because mine are shorter, I think all of mine would have had to have been e-published, or I would have had to double them all. Something to do, all would have had to be doubled. A lot longer than they are. But I like novella length. It seems to be my natural length. Yeah. You know how you can write a story, and I'm 40,000.
That works it out.
And the 40,000 words, every book ends at 40,000 words. I'm like, okay, guess I'm done. It's ridiculous.
Well, I have to say, especially the erotica that you write, it is our readers are all about the erotica. We have so many people, contacting me saying, we want, more reviews, we want more everything erotica. And it's phenomenal. And it seems especially well suited for e-reading, because a lot of times are fast reads, you get a lot of novellas. And also, and this is one thing, now for me, I don't mind. When I'm on the subway, I will bring whatever cover I want to bring.
I was the one who would go to the bookstore and buy 5 or 6 books, and I would invariably always put them face down, because they were all the Fabio-looking covers with and it's ridiculous to be embarrassed, because that's what I love to read, but I was the one who invariably was always like sneaking in the dirty covers, like, yeah, that's mine.
But with e-devices,
no one has
you
a
get
clue
to
what
read.
you're reading. No one knows what you're reading. I was on the plane, I'm going, they don't know what I'm reading. It's really hot.
Where do you see in the next couple of years ebooks going?
I just hope they go up and up and up and up. I actually sat in on a panel here at the RT convention with my editor was presenting from Samhain, and she was talking about how sales have grown at Amazon, and the numbers have tripled. I mean, from when I first started to what they are now, she said every year, it's just, they look at their numbers and they're amazing. And I can see that too. I hope it just keeps going. I really do. I mean, I'm a librarian in my real world, so I love books. I know I seem to be like a contradiction, but I do love print books. I love them. But I love ebooks too.
Well, it doesn't have to be an either or.
It doesn't have to be either or.
It can be and.
It really can. It really can. And I think sometimes people are like, oh, we don't want the print books to go away. I'm like, the books aren't going to go away. They're never going to go away.
Well, I have one last question for you, and that is for the aspiring authors out there that look to you as maybe a role model, saying this is where I want to be. I want to have this many books. I want to have your fan base. What kind of advice can you give to them?
Just stick with it. I can't believe I'm sitting here. Every day I feel like the most blessed person on earth. I don't know where I plucked up the nerve to send off that first book, but I did, and I got lucky. And really, you just keep trying. And I'm not going to say I didn't get rejected. I got rejected. But I just kept going. And I still learn with every book that I write. Writing is something I don't think you ever master. You just continue to grow.
There's no done.
There's no done. I mean, with every book, I have learned something new. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then you just grow and you build on it. But just hang with it, because it's wonderful. I mean, I feel like my dream is coming true. I would love everyone to have that experience. It's very wonderful. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you.